All rise. Court is in session.
Thank you. Please be seated. Welcome to one of the happiest days in the King County Courthouse. We're here this morning to celebrate the accomplishments of some wonderful folks, some folks who have worked incredibly hard, who have persevered, met incredible personal challenges, and are here to receive your greetings, your well wishes, your thanks, and your congratulations. This is a drug court graduation. My name is Judge Dean Lum, and I'm the King County Drug Court Judge, along with Judge Julia Garrett, who's the RJC Drug Court Judge. In drug court, when folks have done everything we've asked of them, when they are in complete compliance, and they are ready to go on to the next phase, we give them what's called an express, which is an acknowledgement that they've accomplished a tremendous amount and are ready to move forward. Well, today, these graduates are receiving the ultimate drug court express. They are ready to graduate from drug court. So initially, I would like you to give them an express right now. Let's give them an express. King County Drug Court has been in existence since 1994. In other words, we're about to celebrate our 25th anniversary. King County Drug Court is a pre-adjudication program. It's one in which people have been charged with felony crimes, and they can range from a lot of different types of felony crimes. And in fact, the eligibility criteria has been expanded so that we can provide services to many more people. But if they've done everything we've asked of them, if they've truly made a change, if they've gone to treatment, if they've committed to making a change in their lives and leaving the life of addiction behind, they have their cases dismissed. They have our thanks, and they have their lives back, hopefully free of addiction, with the tools to deal with potential relapse possibilities, and with hope for the future. These folks you're going to be hearing their stories in just a few minutes. But I have to say, every time I hear of their stories, it's incredibly encouraging, it's incredibly fulfilling, and it's incredibly wonderful to hear what they've accomplished. So, before we get to our graduates, though, I'd like to acknowledge a number of special people who are in the room. First, we have one of our former drug court judges, and he actually comes to a lot of these now that he's retired. But Judge Greg Canova is present. Judge Canova? Also, back in 1994, when drug court was first formed, it was formed under the leadership of the late Norm Mailing, the King County prosecutor. Norm was a visionary leader, and he saw that it was important to establish partnerships throughout the criminal justice system and thought that maybe there's a better way for us to deal with people who are addicted to drugs who are charged with crimes. So King County was a 12th drug court in the United States, and he was a leading force in establishing the drug court program we have today. And his widow, Judy Mailing, who is always with us, is with us here today. Judy, will you stand and be recognized? I believe our program director, Mary Taylor, is on her way. She'll be with us here shortly, but we also have Tom ESSEX, our program manager. Tom, will you please give us a wave? And I believe Detective Doucette is on his way, but Detective Doucette from the the Seattle Police Department is also a big partner with us. I'd like to proceed on, and let's acknowledge our drug court treatment managers. Could you please give them a hand, and please stand up. You're not standing, but there they are right there. There they are. Okay. All right. How about our drug court staff, including our administrative assistants? Could you please give us a wave? Our treatment providers, our outside treatment providers and staff, could you please stand and be recognized? Our housing specialists, Allie, Shannon, are you there? There you go. Yeah, as well as sometimes we have our outside housing specialists from Kate's House and other housing providers. Could you please give us a wave and let's acknowledge them. We have our public defenders and private defense attorneys. Could you please be acknowledged? And also our prosecutors. Mr. Leary, I see him back there. Ms. Smith. We have our court staff, our clerks and our bailiffs. Could you please stand up and be recognized? We have drug court alumni. Could you please stand and be recognized? We have all of our supportive family and friends who have been here on this journey with our graduates. We have so many thanks to you for sticking with our participants. We know how much you've meant to them. You've stayed with them through thick and thin, and you're here to be with them on this graduation date. Could you please stand and be recognized, our family and friends. We also have our Mary Taylor, our program director, just on cue. And then our current drug court participants. Could you please stand to be recognized? For those current participants, I want you to take a look at our graduates. They were once sitting out in the audience, just like you. At one time, they didn't know whether they could do it. They had challenges. Not all of them sailed right through without any sanctions. Some of them had bumps in the road. But each and every one of them have had the strength to come through and see this program to its conclusion. For our current participants, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes and imagine that in the future, you too will be sitting here. You will have done everything we've asked of you, but more importantly, you've done everything for yourself that you need to do in order to deal with your addiction. Can you see yourself in this spot one of these days? Can you see yourself in this spot? I think you can. I think if you ask for help, if you're open to change, I think you can do it too, okay? One of these days, you too will be sitting here at a drug court graduation, getting your certificate of completion and your order of dismissal. That's what this program is about. That's what it's about. So let's get back to our graduates today. So with our first graduate, I'd like to call forward Matthew Gordon. Mr. Gordon. Now, normally at this time, I'd be calling forward the person who's going to introduce Matthew, but Matthew said, "Hey, Judge, why don't you introduce me?" So I was a little bit shocked initially, because you know, those of you who've been in court, sometimes you know, it's I'll ask the person, the participant who's about to graduate, usually at the time they're getting the grad pack, well, who's going to introduce you? And he looks up at me and says, well, you are. I go, okay. And I think I know why. You see, the job that I had before I was a drug court judge was I was the chief criminal judge in this county. I was up on the 12th floor, and I was the person who would decide whether you got out of jail or not at your initial arraignment. Some of you also met me upstairs. Some of you out there met me upstairs as well. And that's where I met Matthew. I don't want to go into all of what Matthew was into at that time, but suffice it to say, Matthew, you were in a lot of trouble. You were in a lot of trouble. You had warrants. You had more warrants than I could possibly count. You had more burglaries than I could possibly count. You were headed right like a rocket to prison for a long, long, long time. And it was clear the path that Matthew was going on. And something happened in the course of him being in custody. He decided he wanted to make a change. He decided, and after some tremendous work by his defenders and public defenders and work with the prosecutors, they decided that maybe there was a better way than sending this gentleman to prison for a long, long time. But that entailed Matthew deciding that he wanted to make a change, and he did. He decided to opt in, decided to come transfer to drug court. He decided that he was going to stick with us. He decided that he wanted to make a change. Well, he came into drug court on July 25th, 2017. Had a couple bumps in the road. Not major bumps in the road, but some bumps in the road. And Matthew persevered. And he's here today, a changed person. He's here today, having put all of this behind him, and about to accept our congratulations. So Matthew, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, when I decided I was going to do drug court, I was pretty, like Judge Lum said, I knew what my other choice was, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to give up. I'm going to surrender. They always tell you you got to completely surrender if you want to have any kind of success in sobriety, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do this. I really want to do it, because the other option was not an attractive one. And, but, as much as you want to do it, sometimes there's things that just, especially with drug court, they really know how to challenge you in every which way that you don't want to be challenged. Like me personally, I was like, okay, I know what I gotta do. I gotta stay clean. I know how I'm gonna stay clean, and I'm just gonna, power through it and, be out of here in a year. Well, like Judge Lum said, that was almost 2 years ago, So it's, one thing I learned, probably the biggest thing I learned, not only about myself, but just about, sobriety and this program, is that, there's always going to be things that you don't want to do, or you feel that you don't need to do. And, I don't know about everyone else, but it's in my nature, and I'm sure a lot of other people's nature, to want to challenge those things and, say, well, for whatever reason, we say, well, I think I know a better way of doing it, or, maybe they're wrong, and, like, for whatever reason it is, and, I had a few of those moments in drug court, but, like Judge Lum said, they were fleeting, and, you know, for the most part, I, you know, put my nose to the grindstone, and I just, you know, I took suggestions of what, not only of what drug court asked me, but of what, you know, my people at THS, you know, suggested of me as far as like my methadone program, and my counselors and clinicians at Sound Mental Health, especially in the START program, that they asked of me. And, you know, I'd like to think I didn't put up too much of a fight, you know, because in the end, here I am, you know. And this isn't the first time I tried doing drug court. I tried back in 2009, and, you know, it didn't work out, and that's what sent me away the first time, you know. So this is a big, like, it's a complete change, complete difference from back then. And, you know, I couldn't have done it without all the people in drug court and treatment, everything. My family, especially my fiance Nikki, and my stepdaughter Gianna, her parents Giovanna and Robert, and my dad, especially Scott. So to them and everyone in drug court, thank you.
Next, we have Jonathan Ho, introduced by Tom.
Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Tom Essex, and I'm the treatment manager for the King County Adult Drug Diversion Court program, and I am honored today to be able to introduce Mr. Ho. The first time I met Mr. Ho was back in July of 2017. He was wearing red, head to toe, and clinking when he walked. And he told me, looked me straight in the eye, and he said, Mr. Essex, yeah, I need some help, but I'm not a drug addict, I don't have a drug problem. And I had what is equivalent to his rap sheet in front of me, you know, and I was looking at that, both pages, and he said, no, I don't have a drug problem, I'm just, you know, I don't have a job, and this is how I support my family. You know, he had a list of ways that he supported his family. So I said, okay, well, you know, we're going to give you a shot, we'll give you a shot. He proceeded to go out on bench warrant. 4 days later, we didn't see him for a few months. But when he came back, it was clear, he was clear that he needed help. Because we had this little conversation, and then he walked away and realized, I do need some help. He came back, and he has been fighting for himself ever since. You know, Jonathan is a young man. When I read through his challenges and accomplishments, everybody writes out their challenges and accomplishments. One of his challenges were, I've never had a job in my life, right? Today, he's employed full-time and being talked to about, would you consider management? Okay. I don't know how else to say that, right? Jonathan, you've done an amazing job. And it has not been easy, right? There's nothing easy about this program because there's nothing easy about life. And what we're trying to do here is prepare people, okay, to be more successful when they get out of here. We don't want them coming back. And so Jonathan has had his struggles as he's been here, and he's taken them head on each and every time. Showed up, you know, I need to talk to somebody, I need some help. And you know, that's what we ask. And the folks sitting over here have done an amazing job, and it has not been easy for any of them. Okay, but they've done it. They've made great strides and made a great deal of change. And the message that you need to hear, Jonathan, is that we are not going to dismiss any of these charges for you. You have gotten these charges dismissed for yourself. You've done an amazing job. Okay, congratulations.
Pretty short. I don't really have much to say, but other than it's hard and you have to put effort into it, and you can't bullshit and, you know, try to get over on their system they have going on because it's good, and it helped me, and you know, it's helped me become a man and not a boy that I was before, lying and saying I didn't have a drug problem and, you know, doing the things I was doing. I've been clean for so long now, and I'm moving up in my life, and it's just great. Drug court's here to help. pretty much all I have to say.
Tyler LaBreche, introduced by Christy.
Hi, so I'm Christy. I'm the case manager for YEAT, which is our Young Adults in Transition Housing. We collaborate with drug court, so I see some of our other residents here, which is exciting. So when Allison, our housing coordinator here, was about to bring Aaron for his tour, she warned me that he was very high energy and a little different. But I have to say that it's these differences and this energy that have led him to have such a successful year. In this past year, he's graduated from high school, obtained a full-time job as a chef, and is now graduating from drug court. He has also developed a love for metal music, which I get to hear every day, has spoken at our art show and fundraising events, and has even led the mayor of Seattle on a tour of YEAT and his room. He has become an integral part of YEAT, and I have been fortunate enough to be a part of this transformative part in his life. So thank you, Drug Court, for collaborating with us, and thank you, Aaron, for being awesome, and congratulations.
Thank you. Hi, I don't have much to say myself either, but I will say, you know, even though there was a lot to do in drug court and everything, you know, it's like there was a lot I had to do, especially in the beginning. And I know some of you here are here, you know, just starting out, phase 1, phase 2, whatever. I know, you know, I did have some problems in the beginning. I used to have to come in here every day. I used to have to go to Des Moines 3, 4, 5 times a week. And I know it can be difficult, but if you persevere and you work through this, everything will be better. You know, nowadays, you know, it's like I have 16 months clean now, but when I first came in, I was crazy. I was 140 pounds, and now I, you know, like she said, I finished high school. I have a full-time job as a cook. This is what I do. So anyway, thank you.
It is my pleasure to introduce Kayla Ledbetter and her beautiful daughter to be introduced by John.
So sometimes in drug court, we get clients from our colleagues. I should say I'm a defense attorney in drug court. And usually that's really fun because for me, the best part of the job is the client. You get to meet somebody new and you learn a lot about them. You establish this bond of trust and hopefully you can play some small part in their success. So usually I'm excited when I get a new client. That was not the case with Miss Ledbetter. I saw her in court with her soon-to-be former lawyer, Miss Gavistad, and Kayla was really mad. She was really angry. She was an angry lady, and I think, what am I getting into? This lady, she's gonna kill me. And that's how I felt back in the spring of 2018 when I got this tiny, angry lady. And she was hearing those words that no client wants to hear, which is TRP or mainstream. And one thing I didn't know at the time is that she was pregnant with Amara, her baby. So that was about 1.5 years ago, and that scary lady, I try not to play favorites with my clients because I love all my clients, but I have to say that I'm really gonna miss seeing Miss Ledbetter every couple of weeks. I mean, as that cliche goes, her smile could light up a room. She always lets me hold her baby while we're on the record, and her baby doesn't cry, which is a first for me. But more than anything, I'm gonna miss Miss Ledbetter because Miss Ledbetter gives me hope. I didn't get to know Norm Mailing when he was alive, but I feel like when he was helping create this program, this is exactly the kind of person that he had in mind. She gives me hope because when I met her, she was in the depths of her addiction and she'd given up hope on herself. She didn't have a family, she didn't have a home, she didn't have any support, she didn't have anything. She'd really lost everything. But she had that tiny baby inside her and she knew, even in the darkness and isolation of her addiction, that baby still had a chance. She could believe in that baby even if she couldn't believe in herself. And that unborn baby gave Kayla the strength and the hope to believe that she could do this, that she could change her life, rebuild her life on a more stable foundation than it was on before, and that's exactly what Kayla did. And I'd like to say it was easy. I'd like to say it was all expresses and not a problem, and she did great, and there wasn't a single bump in the road, but it was hard. And it would have been 100 times easier for Kayla to just eat those felony convictions. She wasn't looking at much time. She could have been done with this program over a year ago and been out of here. She could have just kept doing what she was doing. But instead, she was waiting in jail for treatment. Then she's riding the bus a couple hours a day to get to that treatment. And she's doing all the work of recovery, not just to get clean, but to really change who she was so she could stay clean. And this is not glamorous or exciting work. And especially when you have a baby in your life, really nothing is glamorous or exciting except maybe getting a good night's sleep. But Miss Ledbetter did that work. And she learned that if she wanted to take care of her daughter, she first had to learn to take care of herself. She's learning to keep the negativity and the drama out of her life, to acknowledge her problems rather than hide them. She's going back to school for a medical assistance degree so she can provide for herself and her daughter. Oh, hi. And that's why Miss Ledbetter gives me hope, and she should give all of you hope too. Like some of you who are sitting out there, she lost everything to her addiction, but she built a more solid life for herself brick by brick. She had to do it all one-handed because she was carrying that baby in her other hand. And if you ask her how she did it, she wouldn't say how strong she is, even though she's shown how strong she is. She'd just say, if I can do it, then you can do it too.
I'm really bad at these things, but there we go. Drug court was not easy for me. I was in drug court for 3 years, or I was in drug court for 2 years before it was more of a catch me if you can, you guys let me out of jail first before the other court would. And when I got pregnant, I still had that same mentality. Drug court and John were the first people that cared, they had hope in me before I had hope in myself. And they kept pushing me, and I went into court expecting to be pregnant and on my way to prison. And they gave me another chance, a chance that I didn't deserve. And it's been really hard, but I look at it and it's a hell of a lot easier than being out there. And I always thought it was easier than feeling my feelings being out there and using, but there is nothing easy about that life. And it's hard doing this, but it's easy. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, thank you guys for everything.
Mubarak Molim, introduced by Angela.
Good morning. When I first started working with Mubarak, he reminded me of the hare in the story, The Tortoise and the Hare by Aesop, where the moral is, the race is not always to the swift. Mubarak took his time, carefully working on his goals, achieving one completely to the best of his ability at a time. Mubarak gained the humility, peace, and skills to be successful in the goals he has set in his recovery. It has been a privilege to work with him, with you, on your journey. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm not gonna say much, but it was a long journey, and I want to thank the people who helped me along to give me the tools to succeed. My family, the judge, the prosecutor, and the attorney, and all my counselors. I just want to say thank you to you guys.
Cole Morrill, introduced by Leslie.
Good morning. My name is Leslie Warner. I'm a clinical social worker with the Seattle VA. It's been my pleasure to know and support Cole Morrill over the last 15 months. I'm honored to be here today to celebrate Cole's graduation. On Cole's first day in our Saturday support group, he quickly established himself as a lighthearted yet earnest group member. Over the 15 months that followed, I have experienced Cole as a thoughtful, compassionate, and engaged group participant, someone who demonstrates empathy, understanding, and offers encouragement to his peers. He skillfully strikes balance between the seriousness of recovery with a touch of humor that puts everyone at ease. Cole shares successes and discusses challenges openly, acknowledging opportunities for continued personal growth and remaining receptive to feedback from his peers and treatment providers. He demonstrates an ability to integrate feedback and new skills into his daily life and to reach out for support when needed. Cole has approached treatment with willingness and trust. I have observed Cole's commitment to sobriety, recovery, his personal goals, and to his values. Cole, it's been my distinct pleasure and honor to stand alongside you throughout this process and during your personal recovery journey. I congratulate you on your dedication, significant progress, and accomplishments. Congrats.
Thank you. That was really nice. So I first met Judge Lum also upstairs about a year and a half ago. He PR'd me, and it's about a year and a half ago. Literally, I was homeless, sleeping at a bus stop and eating out of a trash can, and I had no self-control, no accountability, and honestly, I like getting messed up for sure. And those three things helped me commit very felonious activities, and really kind of like that was my turning point in my life. Man, I've accomplished so much already, and because of these bad decisions and my addictive personality, I'm facing jail time, and I didn't want any of that. So just so this program, I didn't sail through it. I thought I had, when I first entered, I was like, man, I'm gonna be done with this, and I hit some roadblocks, speed bumps, and snafus, but it's definitely changed me for the better. Again, like a year and a half ago, I was sleeping at a bus stop, eating out of a trash can, and now I've got a watch, a haircut, and I have my own place. I just recently bought a car that's way better than the one that I allegedly stole, and so throughout the whole this treatment and all this stuff, you can say all these metaphors of how to do it, and the one that's recently popular and I've heard it so many times is, oh well, it is what it is, and I don't like that at all. And through this program, I've learned that it is what you choose to make it, and every day I'm trying to make it better than, or be better than I was yesterday. So, thank you.
Guy Randall, introduced by Guy Randall Sr.
Well, good morning. I'm Guy's dad, and so I don't need to tell you where I met him. I'll just make this short and sweet. My mom and I, or my wife and I call her mom. We watched him grow up, get married, build a stellar career at Boeing, and in a remarkably short period of time, trade it for divorce, homelessness, loss of all his possessions, to a drug. And we came to realize over a period of time, trying to help him, we couldn't do anything. And it all had to come down to him. And I'll go two ways with this. For you guys, I'd like to say what you're doing here, keep doing it. Because I'm sold. I'm sold. I retired military, and I've had a lot of rewards, a lot of failures, a lot of triumphs in my life, but none of them compare to this moment right here, right now. What he's giving me, him, he's back. And I love him with all my heart. And that's all I want to say.
Wow, I'm so excited. I'm finally here. I'm going to graduate. I think it's been about 13 months in drug court. And I remember when I first started out, I made it to about phase 3, and I relapsed. You know, I went out there for about 3 months on the run, and I hit it pretty hard. And, you know, I was doing pretty good in the program to start, but I had a lot of underlining issues that I hadn't dealt with. And I just struggled with dealing with stress, the stress of, you know, sobriety. And so I turned myself in. You know, instead of getting busted by the police, I went and turned myself in, and Judge Lum and Dennis O'Leary, they gave me a second chance, and I want to thank you guys for that. Thank you so much for that, for giving me a second chance into drug court, and I made the best of it. I hit the floor running. And I remember when I came into the program, you know, I hadn't even opted in yet. I heard so many people, you know, say, oh, drug court's out to get you, you know. They're just setting you up for failure. You know, I'm here to tell you all those attitudes are wrong. That is so not true. Drug court has done nothing but set me up for success. And they'll do the same for you, you know. Just stick with the program. You know, if you're interested in a program and a new way of life, this is it, drug court. And I want to thank my attorney. You're so amazing. I want to thank Allison, Amy Lee, Shannon for helping me with housing, Amy Lee for, you know, hearing my stories and helping me get through this. And here I am, you know, I'm graduating. I thank you all so much. That's all I got.
Jordan SHAREK, introduced by Cindy.
Good morning. My name is Cindy SHAREK, and this is my son, Jordan. A couple of weeks ago, he asked me to speak today, and I contacted Yuka and said, I don't know what I'm supposed to say, and how long do I have to speak? And she said to do 3 things. She said to tell you about my son, to reflect on his progress, and to tell you what it was like to be a family member. So let me tell you about my son. He's sensitive, he's loving, he's caring, he's compassionate, he's hardworking, he is respectful, he is honest, he is funny, he is determined, he is intelligent, he is self-reliant, and he has integrity. And today I'm so proud to say he is 18 months sober. So to reflect on his progress, I can only say that it is remarkable and transformational. 5 years ago, we lost him. We didn't know if we would ever get him back. So we are so grateful to drug court for this gift of having him back in our lives. I don't want to cry, I don't want to cry. Okay. We were very desperate before drug court. You know, we didn't know what would happen to him. We tried so many different types of rehab, and we were learning so much about this process, and we didn't know. And we were really doubtful about drug court, to be honest with you. We didn't know if it would be the thing. And we know it isn't the thing for everyone, but I'm here to tell you that drug court did work for us, and we're proof that it can work for you too. You know, we're putting this phase behind us, and he's putting this in his past, and he's worked so hard to do the right thing. Being a family member of someone in recovery, I've learned so much about addiction and recovery and rehab and the criminal justice system and the healthcare system, and I really have grown as a person. I'm so much less judgmental of others. I have so much more empathy and tolerance for people. So it's a good thing. You know, it has turned me into a better person. I'm much more mindful and grateful for every day that I have with him, and I try to stay in the moment every day, remind myself. I really want to take a minute to thank Yuka Hayashi. She's fantastic. I want to thank Tom Essex. I want to thank Garrett Hebel, who was Jordan's counselor at Harborview. He's fantastic. I want to thank Tanaya Shineman. Are you here, Tanaya? It was really Tanaya who helped us get in this program, and I'm really grateful to you. I want to thank all of the judges and all of the people in the court. And although I credit the structure of drug court for the support that Jordan's received to be here today, I want to be clear that it is Jordan who deserves the credit. He made the decision to change the course of his life, and he has accomplished it. During his time in drug court, he's taken AA meetings seriously. He's actually the secretary of his club. He joined a sober softball league. It's been so great to see him back on the baseball field. He's done a great job with his community service, but he also spent a lot of time in the past year and a half providing support to his grandparents, his neighbors, and friends that needed him. For the past 5 years, I've hoped and prayed to have my son back that we lost to addiction, and today I can honestly say we have him back, and I thank you for that.
I'm so grateful to be here. Standing here in front of all you today is like, I never knew it was possible. You know, addiction runs deep and it's strong, and if it's hard to realize that you have it, and you know, if you can realize that, you need to respect it and like do what you can to make sure that you keep it out of power. I want to thank all the drug court staff, the judges. I want to thank my family, everyone who supported me. It's been a privilege, and I'm very grateful. Thank you.
And our final participant is William Asmussen, to be introduced by his attorney, Margaret McGinty.
It's a double tutu. I've been here so long.
My turn.
Hi, Will. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, do you want to start? You can start. Oh, okay, I'm Marge McGinty, and Will's really my first drug court graduate. And I met him before the last election cycle, and he was opinionated, stubborn, kind of defeated, actually. And he remains opinionated and stubborn, but the good thing about that is once he dug in, he really dug in. He really did make a decision to make this program work for him. And it's, as the first person that I've represented that made it through, it's been an amazing thing. And on one hand, it's like raising kids, you know, like it drags and it runs. Like with Will, it's like whatever, it's awesome and incredible, but it's also like day by day by day by day by day. And watching him, you know, having the honor of watching him go through this process has been really, it's like one of those things. It's probably affected me just as much as him. It's been amazing, and I've really gotten to know him because it's been so long, and we're heading to a next election cycle, and hopefully he's enlightened. But anyway, so it's been fabulous, and I'm so proud of you. And I can say he's not defeated. And watching him kind of have this optimism and this hope and this problem solving and this thing that, you know, your whole life, you actually, growth is possible. You don't have to kind of lay back and go, this is how it is, this is how it's always been, and this is how it'll be. It's been amazing to watch. Thank you. All right.
So, hello again. So Will, I would have to agree with most of what Marge said. And when Will first came in, it was, how long is this program? When can I get out? How do we speed this up? Why is this taking so long? That was in the beginning, the first couple of months. And then I started, so I'm usually down in Kent on Fridays. We have a calendar every Friday, and our folks come, they come every couple weeks, and they come once a month, and they come once every 6 weeks. Will started showing up every Friday. I said, Will, you don't have courses? I know, man, I just want to check in. We very quickly went from how soon can I get out of here to what other help is there while I'm here. And in those Fridays, I got to know Will quite a bit as well. And he's a pretty amazing gentleman. We all know life is difficult and it sure as heck isn't fair. And Will learned that early in life, veteran, gets out of the military, gets hit with another challenge, almost lost his life to a medical situation that took many people, a different type of epidemic that swept through our country back in the 80s. Fought through that, spoke, traveled around, sharing the message and helping others to heal. Lost his parents, and that kind of took him into a whole nother hole. And we lost Will for a while during that time when he was younger. And he had to make a lot of really difficult decisions when he was working to save his own life. And during that time, he got kind of separated from his own daughter, who went with her aunt. And to this day, Will is working on rebuilding that relationship. Grew up close to his granddad, fishing out in the ocean, learning how to be a man and handle his business. And I see that in Will when he talks with other folks who are in the program. Many of our folks are younger, and it's really neat to see him give time to those folks. Incredibly patient, very kind, very generous. Will would give you anything he had to help you out. He would put himself, at a disadvantage to help someone else. And it's been really impressive, to watch him kind of grow in this program. And, Will, I'm confident that you have the tools that you need, to go forward and to take care of yourself and to, regain your family. And I know you have a sister who's very close who couldn't make it today. I know she's aware of just what kind of a person you are and how strong you are. I just want to say that I appreciate getting a chance to know you. I hope that we can capture you as one of our alumni who'll keep helping out, right? Keep showing up, okay? And Will Asmussen, graduate.
Well, that was pretty nice of them. I don't know what to say after all that. But I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the judges, the prosecutors, the counselors. And I noticed everybody is generally concerned about us. It wasn't, when I first came here, I thought it was sort of just like everything else. It's just going to go through the numbers and it'll just be the same old thing. And when these people showed a real concern for me, it really made me stop and think that I owed them something, and I owed myself something. I'm pretty old. I'm like the senior graduate, I guess, if you want to say, and I've seen a lot. So I think Tom explained it. I sort of in a complacent, sort of not a down place in my life, and when drug court came along, it woke me up, and I'm really thankful for this, and I want to say thanks, and that's all I can tell you.
We are close to the conclusion of our graduation. I get to make the last few comments here. Some of you may have seen me introduce just two people here. I introduced the Kent participants. Kent has drug court 1 day a week, so we have about 30% of the individuals that graduate in drug court. So sometimes when I come to these graduations, I'm meeting these participants, these graduates for the first time, and I can't tell you how humbling it continues to be to hear everyone's journey. Everyone has a different path that brings them to this program. Mr. Randall, I was very humbled by your congratulations and your accolades to Judge Lum and me saying, keep doing what you're doing. We're just this much of the process. We're just a tiny cog in the process. The team is phenomenal. The dedication, the caring, the thoughtful recommendations they make if someone's struggling, it's not a one-size-fits-all. Every time there's a recommendation made when someone's struggling is to try and therapeutically help them get over whatever's happening at this time. I am so pleased to be part of this process and part of this system, and again, I just couldn't be prouder of the group of you, some of whom I'm meeting for the first time. You all are rock stars. Congratulations. So before we give you all the good stuff that concludes your time in drug court, I'm going to ask Judy Mailing if you can come forward. Detective Doucette often assists us at this point, and we're going to ask you to assist us today. All right, so as we call each one of you up, if you can come this way and then stand over on the side over here so we can take pictures of you. William Asmussen. Matthew Gordon. Jonathan Ho. Tyler LaBrush. Kyla Ledbetter. MORRILL. RANDAL. SHAREK. All right, let's have a hand for our graduates.